Percy Jackson and the Olympians Episode 6 is filled with climactic story reveals about the show's half-bloods, Olympian gods, and Percy's quest for Zeus Master Bolt. After the similarly major story reveals of Percy Jackson Episode 5, the trio of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover headed to Las Vegas to rendezvous with Hermes. There, they enter the Lotus Hotel and Casino in an attempt to convince the god of travelers to aid them in getting to Los Angeles so that their quest can be completed once and for all. Grover believes that Clarrise is the lightning thief. The first story reveal follows directly on from the cliffhanger ending of its predecessor. At the end of Percy Jackson Episode 5, Grover tells Percy and Annabeth that he knows who stole the Master Bolt due to his conversations with Ares. At the beginning of Episode 6, Grover reveals his theory that Clarisse was the lightning thief. Grover's reasoning stems from Ares hiding something about the lightning bolt during their conversation about it. Grover states that Ares would have no one to protect unless it was one of his children, thus believing that Clarisse is responsible. Percy and Annabeth find Hermes in Las Vegas. Upon reaching the Lotus Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Percy and Annabeth search for Hermes while Groves goes off in another direction. Eventually, the former duo finds Hermes and asks him if he can help. Hermes seems unconcerned with the demigods and their quest but is won over once Annabeth reveals that they are friends of Luke. Episode 6 then explains more about Luke's history with his father in another of the episode's major reveals. The Lotus Casino marks the latest ancient Greek threat to Percy Jackson's trio. Episode 6 continues the trend of raising another ancient Greek danger to the trio's quest just as the show did with Medusa, Echidna, Chimera, and Hephaestus beforehand. In Percy Jackson Episode 6, the threat they encounter is the lair of the Lotus Eaters. In ancient Greece, the Lotus Eaters appeared in Homer's epic poem The Odyssey. In the poem, Odysseus and his men encounter an island inhabited by mysterious people who constantly eat lotus flowers. These lotus flowers leave people in a perpetual state of bliss and ignorance, losing all sense of urgency or personal desire other than wishing to stay on the island. The Lotus Eaters have settled in the Lotus Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Rather than infect people through food, the Lotus Eaters' effect is airborne, meaning that anyone who enters the hotel will never want to leave again. This affects Grover as he is alone in the Lotus Hotel, though Annabeth and Percy see through the trick and they all escape together. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover have been in the Lotus Hotel for days. Despite Annabeth and Percy not being affected by the desire to stay in the hotel, the airborne drugs of the Lotus Eaters had other impacts on them. Eventually, Percy discovers that they have been inside the hotel for days rather than minutes as it felt. While it only felt as though they were searching for Hermes for 20 minutes, days had actually passed, which massively speeds up the timeline of Percy's quest. Percy Jackson Episode 6 reveals the summer solstice has passed. After leaving the Lotus Hotel and Casino, Percy, Annabeth, and Grover take Hermes' car to Los Angeles. They magically arrive on the beach in Santa Monica where Percy is supposed to meet his father. However, the biggest story reveal of Episode 6 awaits the titular character beneath the ocean in Los Angeles. The summer solstice deadline has passed. The trio's time in the Lotus Hotel and Casino means that they have already missed the deadline to return Zeus Master Bolt. Therefore, both Zeus and Poseidon are preparing for war as Percy reaffirms his wish to finish the quest. Percy is given Poseidon's pearls in a last-ditch effort to complete his quest. Despite Poseidon not being in Santa Monica, the narrator who spoke to Percy at the end of Percy Jackson Episode 4 appears. She tells him that Poseidon waited as long as he could, but that he had a message for Percy. This is where Percy is told that his quest is over and that he should return to camp. However, Percy's dedication to saving his mother and stopping a war between the gods means he will continue on his quest regardless. Knowing that his son has the same will as him, Poseidon presents Percy with 4 pearls via the narrator. The narrator explains that Poseidon's pearls will allow anything that belongs to the sea to return there. They are given to Percy as a means for him, Annabeth, Grover, and Sally to escape the underworld. This development means that Percy Jackson and the Olympians Episode 6 ends with its biggest story reveals yet. The summer solstice has passed. The gods are preparing for a war that could destroy the earth, and Percy vows to continue his quest in an attempt to save not only the world but his mother from the clutches of Hades.